You're listening to After the Dragon, a reflective existential podcast about navigating life changes. Episode 6, on what we take for granted. Let us begin. When faced with adversity, when change is thrust upon us, it is easy to reach the simplest of conclusions, that everything is ruined. We now must rebuild from the ground up, standing in the rubble of what once was. Have you ever felt like this? Maybe it happened suddenly, the way a storm descends without warning. Or maybe worse, perhaps you saw it coming all along, but, referring to our previous episodes, clung to your bad faiths, convincing yourself against reason that the storm would never arrive. Sometimes, these moments strike just one part of our lives. We lose a job, a partner, friend, and yet the impact ripples outward, affecting everything. Even when we inevitably rebound, time is lost, and the process just hurts. And other times, it can feel so devastating, like Napoleon's Waterloo, or Poland in 1939, attacked from all sides by ruthless enemies. They had to fight a war they could not win, yet still they fought, and though they fell as heroes. When I lived in Poland, I felt my total devastation. My downfall arrived in pieces. My health deteriorated first, then my career teetered, then my relationship eroded, and my time in that country was just taking away. I saw it all happening and fought against it, but in the end all was futile. I lost my job, I couldn't salvage a relationship that, reflecting on my own bad faiths, was a dead end for me, and I left Poland with no clear destination. None of it, of course, happened overnight. It took half of 2024 to fully unravel, and when I returned to Greece, as I described in episode 3, I tried to move forward. After such periods, our loved ones may try to empathize with us, to remind us that things will eventually turn around, that good times are just around the corner for us. And this can of course be the case. We can learn from our faults as we should. These are pivotal experiences that call us to question our previous beliefs, thoughts, processes and choices after all. And with hard work, determination, the proper support, and a fair dose of luck, we can navigate ourselves through these dark times. We can emerge from the clouds of the storm, a new, improved version of ourselves, ready for what life has next in store for us. Yet, there is a caveat to all this. Darkness is layered. What seems pitch black may even have deeper shades. Since, even after loss or terrible transitions, there is no guarantee of full recovery. Good things do not simply happen to good people. The universe does not run on a karmic scoring system. We can strive to rebuild, to make things right, even properly learning from our mistakes and changing our strategies, and still we can fail. And that was what happened to me too. My first months back in Greece were making me feel I was deteriorating as life had more blows to deliver to me. In such a time, what I was not accounting for, however, was that there were always worse, far worse fates than the ones I was facing. My worst case scenario could be someone else's salvation. Nevertheless, all these remained theoretical in my head. These were just distant ideas, easy to brush aside, as I was centered in my own problems, and it wasn't until recently, until the end of 2024, a year that for me felt like everything had gone wrong, that I saw how these things are not just theory, as I finished 2024 in a way that helped me to reframe everything. By spending 10 days in Mumbai, India. Mumbai was a journey I had to bring to this podcast at some point because it was one of the most transformative trips of my life. I went there to attend a wedding, a celebration of commitment, love, and endurance, and I met lovely people there. Most importantly, I saw my close friend, whom I hadn't seen since our Erasmus in Barcelona, happily getting married, a sweet, vibrant person, surrounded by wonderful friends and family. To my buddy Nick, and to his wife and new friend Ravina, please keep flourishing, both of you. Yet, beyond the wedding and joyful reunions, I had time to tour the city, to walk its streets, and to see firsthand all these theoretical concepts of it can always get worse, which were not so theoretical anymore. Mumbai metropolitan area is populated by more than 20 million people, and it has a characteristic I never had seen in my travels before. Mumbai is a city of immense contradictions. West-like wealth and comfort can coexist mere meters away from slums, people living on the streets facing the worst adversities imaginable. You cannot avoid noticing both sides of this unfair coin while you're there. And there was one moment, close to the end of that trip, that I will never forget. One morning, I went to a different area by myself, planning to meet with someone over coffee. She had to run slightly late, so being me, I decided to tour around. I saw on the maps that there was a beach nearby, so I headed towards there for a seaside stroll. And as I was walking, I was getting closer and closer to an inhabited area that I was recognizing from Nick's descriptions. The blue roofs, the hastily built and tightly packed walls. They were a giveaway. Without knowing it, I came head on with the slum area. I stood there to take notice, and facing the slums, I faced my fallacies. Right when the waves crashed on this unstable, sandy piece of land, the shock refugee from a world that had forsaken them. Yet, kids sprouted from the blue plastic roofs, laughing, playing tag, enjoying the waves, because it's what they know. It's what they always knew. In that point, nothing but guilt and shame existed for me. Shame on what I took for granted, and guilt as I will now be facing them away and return to my world of privilege. I recognize that the episode up to this point may resolve to the hollow be grateful for what you have message that you've probably heard over and over and over again. And it's true. That's the point of the episode. Gratitude has been on the forefront of well-being research for decades now. And practicing gratitude regularly has long-lasting effects on one's well-being. The point is to ask you, the listener, directly, what do you take for granted? Not in a vague, count your blessing way. Think in a deeper, actual way. What parts of life have you stopped seeing and appreciating? And more importantly, what are you going to do about it? Because that is the pitfall of transition that sometimes we face, that after devastation, partial or complete, we are left with a feeling that we have to start over from the beginning. But that's always never true. We may have our hearts broken, our confidence shattered, our piggy banks empty, and our financials broken, but when we're ready to come back, to put in the work to restore what's lost, to attempt to make something even better or greater, even if that may never actually happen, even if we may never be able to come back to what we perceive as the good times or the times when we had it all but now they're but lost, Even in this case, there will be always something we can count on. There are always some blessings to be grateful for. Our friends who make us laugh, our pets who are there to hug and cuddle when we most need it, random acts of kindness that you can see just going out in the streets, warm embraces to receive or even just to witness, and most importantly, ourselves, as our value is inherent. It shouldn't and isn't driven by external validations. Our value comes from within. I left Mumbai feeling immense shame and guilt, yes, but also something else: awareness. Not the kind that preaches, but the kind that reminds me that I have choices, that I have a chance to create, to contribute, to be kinder, and to be grateful. Not only for me, not only for my blessings, but also for the kids that I saw that day, playing cheerfully, living life in its fullest, with the cards they have been dealt with. You have reached the end of this episode. Thank you for listening. If you want to do something to change yourselves, do this until the next episode. Each night before you go to bed, write 3 things that happened in that day that you are grateful for. It's a well-known intervention suggested by well-being professionals, and it can be seen in some of the best courses on the subject, like Yale's The Science of Well-being and University of Pennsylvania's Positive Psychology Application Interventions, being available on Coursera. And if you want something more drastic, just cut a chunk of your time and offer it to others around you. You can go volunteer, you can go help the elderly or work at animal shelters or give something to charity. Even simply spending time with your loved ones, filling their hearts with joy. This is a definite way of earning things to be grateful for. I promise you that. The next episode arrives on March 27. Until then, take care.